Welcome to the Wayne Breezie channel, host of the Wayne Breezie Show. I'm here to deliver to you great NFL content. You see the team. Hit that sub button and tune in. Welcome. Welcome to the Wayne Breezie Show. I was just looking at the live chat and I was just paying attention to some of the comments and sometimes I don't, you know what I'm saying, like sometimes I gotta get checked, you know what I'm saying. Don't bother me, like, you know what I mean, like I get it. When I came up with the title, I wasn't even thinking, man. I wasn't even thinking. I promise you. But when I saw the pause, I promise you that those thoughts weren't in my mind until I saw the pause, and then I realized that's when I messed up. Guys, welcome to the Wayne Breezie Show on this wonderful, amazing day, very important day in history. Today is the day that we honor the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was born on January 15th, just like myself, just like your boy Wayne Breezie. Like, we were both born on January 15th. What a great day. And today we honor him. This is the day that has been observed to pay reverence to the late great Dr. Martin Luther King, who was a civil rights leader, and he fought for racial equality and putting an end to segregation. All right, an end to segregation. And for those that don't know who Dr. Martin Luther King is, or don't know some of the things that he's accomplished, I know he's most famous for his "I Have a Dream" speech, but he broke barriers with the Birmingham campaign. He was the youngest person to ever win a Nobel Peace Prize. He led the Montgomery bus boycott. I know you guys know about Miss Rosa Parks. He founded the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and he also led the March on Washington. So today we definitely want to honor the late, great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. All right, guys, again, thank y'all so much for joining the show. I truly appreciate it. Shout out to the Breezy Bunch crew, man. I see you guys out there, man. My man Colin is in the building, 1,000%. Everybody that's in the chat. I see my man Gerald. Big Daddy Niners, what's going on, family? Where's that Rams fan that talk all that mess? Your team got slapped. Yeah, man, you're not going to see too many of the Chiefs fan will probably be up in here for sure, but the Rams fan won't be in here. Guys, make sure you hit that like button. All right, comment. Feel free to subscribe if you're new. It's your first time watching the show, man. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I have a lot of stuff planned just for this week right here on the Wayne Breezie channel. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure your alerts are turned on. I'm going to be doing the simulations for the championship games. We got 2 championship games. We're going to kind of like recap what happened this week in the NFL for sure. And I'm going to simulate those games so you guys can tune in and we can have some fun trying to see what Madden is going to create for the Madden Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying, for 2024. I also got a lot of other videos up here that I'm going to be doing, a lot of shows and stuff like that. So make sure you stay locked in right here to the Wayne Breezie channel, and check out our sponsors over at Residency, www.residency.com. Use the promo code SFBreezy. All right. Now, I do want to show you this exclusive t-shirt that I'm wearing from the one and only Mr. Ty Alston. He collaborated with a couple of other 49er content I call them content giants, right? And Fred Warner, and they came up with this shirt. So I do want to show you guys this shirt, and then you guys can go ahead and hit up Ty Alston and go ahead and cop one. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to my brother Ty. Hold on one second. So it says the All-Pro Iron Fred Warner in the Bay Area. So make sure you guys go ahead and check out that as well. I'll put the link in the description link in the description of the show. If you guys do still read descriptions, the link will be in there. It'll tell you how you guys can go ahead and help support what my man Ty is doing. All right, so make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. All right, now let's talk about this quick divisional recap, man, because you know what, football is the greatest sport on planet Earth. It came down, man. I sat and watched every single one of these games in their entirety, no matter how boring I thought they were. I watched every one, and I was just, the first game, we got to talk about the Texans. We got to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? And, I just don't understand. Here's the thing about the Chiefs, right? And I'm going to do a whole show where I'm going to rant on this, so make sure you check that out. It'll be right here on the channel. It'll probably be uploaded today at some point. But I'm going to do a whole show where I rant about the Chiefs. I just don't understand why they need so much help. Man, they're a great team, and, it's okay if they get beat, and it's okay if they lose. But for some reason, the NFL officials will not allow them to lose a game. I can't figure it out to save my life. A couple of those calls were questionable, hands down. I'm going to say this, and I know people aren't going to like it. The Chiefs won the game by any means necessary. The Houston Texans had every opportunity to win that game, and they shot themselves in the foot. No pun intended. Literally, they lost by a foot. Your kicker can't go out there and miss, especially in a situation like that. And yes, he's one of the best kickers, field goal percentage kickers in the league, and he missed. We're talking blocked field goal, missed extra point. You. If you're a 49ers fan, you know all about missing field goals and losing by 1 point, losing by 3 points, losing by whatever points. I know the game wasn't decided by a field goal as far as the score, but, the kickers can't miss, especially in them situations, and who knows. So they had every opportunity to win this game, even with the bad officiating. I'll leave it at that. So Chiefs won 23-14. Man, the next game, man, the Commanders and Lions. And shout out to everybody that had the Commanders upsetting the number 1 seed. You guys are, I'm going to give y'all a round of applause for sure. If you were one of those people, man, make sure you shout it out, I'm going to be honest. I kept saying, I did a show about it, and I said, if the Lions screw around and allow this game to be close, which it was for the majority of the game, the Lions will lose. I still had the Lions winning. I did. I picked the Lions to win. But unfortunately, when you turn the ball over 5 times, you don't find a way to reciprocate those turnovers, it's impossible to win a game. It's impossible. They lost by 14, 45-31. So shout out to, the Commanders, Jaden Daniels. He's appearing to be a real one. So I can't wait to sit there and kind of dig into that game. And then the Sunday matchups, you had the Rams at the Eagles. Look, the Rams, I'm not going to lie. I thought Matthew Stafford was going to lead them to a victory. I was so pissed. I didn't know what the Eagles were doing. I understand they were dealing with injuries. The Eagles found a way to pull it off. They won 28-22, but I thought the Rams, if they didn't turn that ball over or whatever, there's a possibility that they could have probably found a way to win the game when you got a guy like Matthew Stafford. But they lost, so, congrats to the Eagles for advancing to the NFC Championship to face the Commanders, which will be a divisional game, an extra divisional game in the NFC Championship. We've seen that before. A couple of years ago it was the NFC West, and now it's the NFC East. So the East will be representing the NFC in the Super Bowl this year. Super Bowl 59, I believe that's where we are. And then you had the Ravens at the Bills, which was probably the best game this weekend because it really was tit for tat, right? Really, blow for blow, pound for pound. No quarterback was looking. I didn't think Allen or Lamar Jackson had an MVP-esque game, but they made some MVP-esque type plays to get their team, in contention of winning. And, Lamar Jackson, you turned the ball over twice. The Ravens had, 3 turnovers in that game. The Bills had none. You lose the turnover battle, you lose the game, and it's sad, but that's just the way it is. Yeah, it's just the way it goes, man. You lose the turnover battle, you lose the game. And the Ravens had every opportunity to tie that game, man, and unfortunately you get the fumble from you get the fumble from Mark Andrews, and then you get the dropped 2-point conversion from Mark Andrews, right? It's crazy. And then to hear Lamar Jackson talk, he took ownership on his mistakes, but he definitely let his frustration out in the media, which I thought was funny. Like, I thought it was super funny. So there you have it, man. So the AFC Championship game setup is gonna be Bills and Chiefs. The Bills will be traveling to Kansas City, and then I think they play second, if I'm not mistaken, or they might play first. I can't really remember. I think they play second, and I think the Commanders will be headed to Philly, right, to play the Eagles, and I think they play first. So we'll see what happens. But man, that's what it is, man. I said Mike Andrews. That was funny, right? That's my dog. But Mark, like, you know what I mean? Mike probably would have dropped. Mike would have caught that pass. You know what I mean? Mike would have caught the pass, But granted, man, good football weekend, and we'll be moving on for sure. Now, 49ers news. You got Demo, 49ers cornerback number 1 going into the next season, right? He's out there recruiting players, which is I love. I love when players recruit players. Now, he talked about bringing Maxx Crosby, to the Bay. I just want to get y'all thoughts on Maxx Crosby coming to the Bay. I mean, for me, I would love it. I don't know how we can afford it, but I would love it just to have that perfect counterbalance from Bosa to Crosby. Like, that would make my dreams truly come true. Like, you know what I mean? That would make my dreams come freaking true. 1,000%, out there, in my opinion. But I know it's not going to happen. I don't see Crosby looking to leave the Raiders. I don't even know who the Raiders head coach is going to be. They're still shopping for a head coach. I feel like it's going to be Ben Johnson. Once these 2 Detroit Lion guys, you know what I'm saying, get hired, I think that's when everything else will start falling in place. So Aaron Glenn, where's he going to go? Ben Johnson, where's he going to go? I don't know. You know what I mean? So once they fall into place, I think that's when, the rest of the dominoes will start to fall. Shout out to Eddie G and the Bulldogs. Been a member. Make sure you guys join the Breezy Bunch crew. All right? Join the crew, man, for sure. It got really cool perks. We do membership shows once a month. We got our show coming up. Gonna be doing some nice little giveaways for the members, man. Breezy flag already thrown. A flag. That's funny. Look, you can overcome flags and penalties, but you can't overcome the turnovers. And that game is gonna come down to just that. Whoever turns over the ball a little bit less. But thanks for being a member. Shout out to my Facebook family out there. I see Melissa out there. You know what I'm saying? What's going on, Melissa? Shout out to everybody out there on Facebook as well. But Eddie G and the Bulldogs, man, thanks for always rocking with your boy Breezy. Almost 2 years full, man. 2 years stretch. You about to 1 more month. You be a 2-year member supporting the Wayne Breezie channel right here. I appreciate that, man. 1,000%. So look. I mean, Demo's out there recruiting. Definitely got to fix this defensive line. You know what's funny? Like, I was sitting here, I was reading some stuff, and my thoughts are always like, I want to draft. I want the offensive line better. Like, I feel like everybody should want our offensive line to be the best offensive line in the NFL. And then we watch other teams play. We watch Philly's offensive line. We watch these guys, and we say to ourselves, like, see, that's what we need to do. We need to do that. And I just want to remind everybody, though, the majority of them cats were drafted. So we got to figure out, how can the 49ers draft better on the offensive line? Those guys are drafted and really seasoned in there, and then they sprinkle in a couple of new pieces or whatever. They're not really investing free agency, right? They're drafting, like, so they have a good development program over there in Philly. I think they really their strong suit is in the defensive line. I like the 2 areas that the Niners need to address are in the trenches. They need to address the offensive line. They need to address the defensive line. You got free agency about to hit this upcoming March. And I started, and I think I'm going to share this with the members on the Patreon. So make sure you guys, like, if you become a member of the Patreon, man, I open up different documents and things like that I create and stuff like that so you guys can read. But I was going through the free agents and I'm like, man, there's some guys. I'm going to put a couple of names out there if the Niners are looking to use free agency to help, you know what I'm saying? Like, fill in some gaps and stuff like that on the team. There's a linebacker. I don't know if they're going to bring Dre Greenlaw back. I know he's the fan favorite to bring back. I know we want to bring him back. I don't know how much money he's going to actually cost when he hits the market, though, because I looked at the market and you put all the linebackers together. So it's going to be Khalil Mack, and then there's going to be a couple of other guys ahead of him. And I see Bobby Wagner there. Bobby Wagner is still playing in the playoffs right now. Like, you know what I mean? So Bobby Wagner's up there. I know he's older. Levante David, I know he's older. Two guys that made it to the playoffs. And then there's Dre Greenlaw. So Greenlaw's value because of his age is going to be high, but the question is going to be the injuries. And so, like, how much will Greenlaw command on the market for the linebacking core? But I found a guy that I would love for the Niners to look into. His name's Isaiah Simmons. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah Simmons, drafted by the Cardinals, didn't use him right. There was a hybrid, kind of like a safety linebacker, and then I think he plays for the Giants or whatever, free agent. Listen, I would love to get his speed, his self inside of this camp and see what the Niners can do with him, 1,000%. Like that would be a great guy to go after. They can go after, if they're going to look to address the trenches on the offensive front, they can go and try to get that kid from Philly. The kid from Philly, he's going to be a free agent. I think Mekhi Becton is his name. He's going to be a free agent. So, like, there are ways the Niners can get better. The question is, are they going to spend the money? Are they going to spend the draft capital? You know what I mean? And that's going to be the ultimate question. It truly is. Now, I think offensively, we kind of know the Niners' direction. Defensively, it's the question mark of the century because we don't even have a mother-loving defensive coordinator. Shout out to Miss Debbie. She says blessings to you, Wayne, and the Breezy Bunch crew. Happy MLK Day. Happy MLK Day to you as well, my dear. It's good to see you. Good to hear from you. You know what I mean? And I truly appreciate you for joining the live show on this morning. And I hope you're doing very, very well out there. Again, shout out to the members of the Breezy Bunch crew, 1,000%. You guys are amazing, as well as all the subscribers out there. So look, Demo recruiting Maxx, cool, man. Keep the recruiting coming. This is not a shot at Nick Bosa. I don't want people to be like, oh, he wants Maxx Crosby over. No, he wants Maxx Crosby with Nick Bosa. Like that's the key. Like, plus Maxx Crosby actually likes the quarterback. Like, he likes, the guy that I think is going to be the quarterback for a very long time, and Mr. Purdy, right? So, like, he actually likes the quarterback, and I think that's key. Like, I just read a story about DeForest Buckner, like, going in on who's the Anthony Richardson from the Colts. He was like, bro, I extended my career here because you're supposed to be the man. So get your stuff together. I'm like, yeah, like, get your together, dog. Like, so maybe Maxx is feeling that kind of way. The Raiders don't have really a quarterback situation. It depends on how they look and go this route. Will they draft a guy? Will he? I don't know. All I know is the Niners got to get better up front, offensively and defensively. We got our first super chat contribution. Shout out to my bro Little Lean. He says, what are your thoughts on Oren Burks playing, and realistically, do we get Robert Saleh as a defensive coordinator? All right, so Oren Burks has been filling in the role as that linebacker because of injury to Nakobe Dean for the Philadelphia Eagles. Thank you for the super chat contribution too, by the way. And I think he's doing a hell of a job. Look, like, Oren Burks as a linebacker is great. Oren Burks as a coverage linebacker, depending on who he's covering, is not great. Like, that's just what it is. And I don't think there's too many linebackers in the NFL that can cover a guy like Travis Kelce. But you talk about a guy with wide receiver moves and a tight end body. I think it's just impossible. Now, Dre Greenlaw is able to do it because of his ability to move side to side and his lateral speed and things like that. But, I mean, it's a big drop. So Oren Burks playing for Philly, I feel like he hasn't been asked to cover a guy like that. Like, you know what I mean? Name the tight ends he's had to actually cover. He's usually brought in to generate pressure like he was yesterday. They couldn't really get home, but they still ended up winning the game. what makes Philly strong is that defensive front, the interior. I keep saying we got to get these guys in the interior. But I like what Oren Burks is doing in Philly. I mean, he's asked to do his role and he's playing it. As far as Robert Saleh, man, we're gonna get into that, dog. But realistically, do I see it happening? I don't. I don't understand why Saleh would take a coordinating job if a head coaching job is offered. It's weird. So that's today's title. The 49ers are taking a major gamble by going all in on Robert Saleh. And I'll explain it. I promise. I got you. I got a whole sermon ready to go. You know, cue the music. You know what I mean? Cue the music. You know what I mean? So I like Robert Saleh because he built this defense. He built the system here, or the system was built, but he ran it. Once he got the pieces he needed, he was able to get it and ran it properly. You know what I mean? And he's got to be number one on the list. And unfortunately, we're still talking about it because he's still being interviewed as head coaching. He hasn't accepted the job. Now, there's a report going on out there, and we'll get into Robert Saleh. You know, there's a report going on out there that the 49, a couple of things. The 49ers, this is per Matt Barrows, the 49ers are pretty much all in on Robert Saleh. Here's the quote. It's Robert Saleh or bust, really, because they haven't done much work with anybody else to this point. Now, there's tons of available coaches for this position, and the Niners aren't even interviewing these people. They haven't interviewed Dennis Allen. Jeff Albrecht got hired as the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator, and the Niners didn't even give him a formal interview. Again, the question or the statement that I'm making is the 49ers are taking a major gamble by going all in on Robert Saleh. Now, I'm going to bring y'all back to fruition because Kyle Shanahan already said that the internal candidate is Brandon Staley. The internal candidate. I made a tweet post the other day saying, dang, I really get the feeling like it's either Robert Saleh or Brandon Staley. There's no in between. It's we're going after him or we're going to settle. And I don't think that's a good idea for the San Francisco 49ers to just settle. The last time Brandon Staley coordinated a defense was what, in 2020 whatever with the Rams? Then he became a head coach, and now we're asking him to go back to building that Rams defense. I mean, that Rams defense was predicated off of having probably the best damn player in football at the time, Aaron Donald, right? And then you build and stack on that. But I'm not going to say that Brandon Staley won't be a good option, but I don't think he's the best option. I feel like there are way better options out there. And I think that's why I feel like the San Francisco 49ers, if they're all in on Saleh, that's the mistake. Because don't put all your eggs in this basket, because at the end of the day, Robert Saleh controls his destiny, right? Now, it'd be cool if these other teams turn him down. That'll help us out. But now you're playing the game. Are the Raiders going to turn? I don't even think he went to the Raiders. But are the Jags going to turn him down? The Cowboys? They got an interview with him. I think he's a great interviewee guy. I think he aces interviews. I just think the issue is if we continue to wait on Robert Saleh, we're screwing ourselves and building and moving forward. I feel like going Brandon Staley, and I can't prove it, but I feel like it'll be taking a step backwards in 2025. Because now you got to figure out, all right, Brandon Staley, are you going to run my 4-3 built system? Are you going to go back to where you're comfortable and your 3-4 with your outside linebackers, your 3 down linemen, that type of defense? That's why I said to Mike on the BAM show, which airs on Wednesdays and Fridays, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Those are live shows. That's why I said to Mike, yo, what if, or I said to somebody, what if Brandon Staley was brought in to learn? Because I really don't see Kyle Shanahan changing the system or wanting the system changed. Let me rephrase that. I don't. I truly don't. I truly don't. I don't see it. 49ers underscore throwback. I don't see how Brandon Staley improves the defense. Kyle failed twice with these hires, Wilks and now Sorensen. I don't think Wilks was a failure. Wilks wasn't a failure. Wilks had the defense as the top-rated defense in the league, and the team lost in the Super Bowl. He wasn't a failure. I don't think he was a good fit. I don't think Wilks was the best fit for the Niners. I think at that moment, they had to get a coordinator. They went with an experienced guy, and it didn't fit. It worked, but it wasn't the best fit. Things can work but not be good fits. I thought Wilks worked, but as far as his connection to the players, as far as the way that they run stuff in San Francisco, the culture there, he just didn't fit. And we all know that Steve Wilks was the scapegoat of the San Francisco 49ers, so right? I don't think he was that bad of a guy. Matter of fact, he's interviewing for a job too, by the way. So I don't think Kyle failed at that one, but Kyle definitely failed at Nick Sorensen. He went with his guy. See, it's the difference when you don't go with your guy and you go with a guy outside, you bring an outside guy in, whatever. But when you pick your guy, when you hand select your guy and it don't work, that's a failure. And I feel like that's what Kyle Shanahan is trying to do. He's trying to pick the best option, which in my opinion, I'm not going to lie, it's going to be Robert Saleh. I don't care what anybody says. It's Robert Saleh's best option. Why? This is his system. This is his system. He knows the players. He has a relationship. Like all of the boxes that you're checking for Robert Saleh is cute. And the crazy thing is the Niners, the report out there says that the Niners are willing to make Robert Saleh the highest paid defensive coordinator in the league. I'm like, hey, let's make it happen. So I did my homework. Who's the highest paid defensive coordinator in the league, Craig? Oh, I know. Former 49ers defensive coordinator Vic Fangio. Well, what do you say? Why didn't the Niners really go in on Vic Fangio, who, by the way, has the #1 defense in the NFL? And you know where they are? They're in the NFC Championship game, playing the Washington Commanders. He's the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. He's the highest paid defensive coordinator in the league. You know how much money he makes? $4.5 million. That's a lot of money for your boy Breezy. Might be a lot of money for y'all out there too. But if Robert Saleh is being, I don't know what head coach. What is the head coaching? Who's the highest paid head coach in the league? I'm not sure. Let me look that up. Highest paid head coach in the NFL. I got to look it up because I don't know where Saleh is going to be in that. But it's got to be, God dang, Andy Reid. Andy Reid makes $20 million a year. I just feel like when you become a head coach, like that money, it just trumps a lot. Plus, you get the money, you get the power, you get the respect, you get the creativity, you get all this type of stuff. You got blah, 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 whatever. You get all that stuff. 49ers underscore throwback super chat contribution says it's the NFL. Kyle got to evolve. Look at Philly. Yeah, I mean, I think the difference between Philly and Kyle is Nick Sirianni had to get new coordinators and it's a little bit of a trust thing though. But listen, man, you get Vic Fangio, you automatically know he gonna run the system. And I just feel like when you look at Philly's system, like they were always built. They always played that 3-4 hybrid type of a defense, right? And we knew that they were going to get an ironclad defensive coordinator. That's what we wanted, Vic Fangio. Remember, we were like, yo, let's get Vic back. And then a lot of people were like, well, he's going to end up changing the system back to 3-4. We're going to go back to that 2012 defense, 3-4, blah, 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 blah. We don't have the pieces for that. And I don't know if the Niners were willing to make that change. I still don't feel like that's why it can't be Brandon Staley, right? Unless Brandon Staley is saying to Kyle Shanahan, I could run the 4-3, dog. I watched it. I watched what didn't work. I don't know if I trust that, though. But unfortunately, it's probably going to be Brandon Staley. So I'm here to just tamper everybody's expectations. Hint, I want it to be Robert Saleh or somebody else. That's what I'm saying. Robert Saleh, Dennis Allen, somebody else that we know will give the 49ers longevity. Now, Robert Saleh, I mean, if he comes here and becomes the defensive coordinator, $4.5 million, what are they going to pay him? $12 million a year? They're going to have to give him a deal that's head coach-esque like for him to not leave. That's the thing. So let's not overlook that. Let's not overlook it. Just because Vic Fangio makes $4.5 million, what if they offer Robert Saleh a 5-year deal for $75 million? He becomes the highest paid defensive coordinator ever. He's going to sign a 5-year deal, and then he can't leave in 5 years. He has to wait. So it could be a contract to where he can't refuse, but then there's going to be those those teams that are going to offer those head coaching deals, and that's where it's going to get kind of tricky, iffy, whatever. But I know a lot of people fear Robert Saleh becoming defensive coordinator. A, they feel like he won't fix the defense, and then B, he's going to leave. But if he signs a long-term deal, he can't leave. So that'd be a good thing. Like, you know what I mean? But we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? We'll see what happens. Another Super Chat contribution. Thank y'all for the Super Chat contributions because they help support the show. I truly appreciate that. Rainier Prado, thank you for the contribution. I'm not sure if you said something, so I'm going to try to scan the chat and see if there was something that you said that you want me to read out loud. But if you do want to write, okay, here we go. What about Lou Ariam? Listen, or Narumo. I think that's how you say his name. Lou Anarumo. All right. Yeah, like he's definitely in contention, but I feel like he's going to become a head coach. Is he going to the Raiders? Is he the Raiders guy? I feel like he's gonna end up. Oh no. Yeah. I thought the Atlanta Falcons would have picked him up, but they went with Jeff Ulbrich. I thought he would have reunited with Bates, but I feel like he's gonna end up going somewhere. He might get a head coaching job. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens with Lou. But I do like Lou. I like Lou a lot. I do. I like Lou, Dennis Allen, some of those guys that I don't fear leaving the 49ers after success, especially if there's success right away. I don't fear that. And we already know that special teams coordinator, I mean, we're not going to get into that. We don't have to dive into the special teams coordinator. We already know that it's going to be Nick Sorensen, right? Like, I think we all know that Kyle Shanahan is hand selecting Nick Sorensen, right? Is hand selecting Nick Sorensen to be the special teams coordinator. So that position kind of gets thrown out of the window. But as far as defensive coordinator, here's what makes the defensive coordinator position so, prominent, right? Because you can't start shaping your defense without the coordinator. We can't shape the defense without the coordinator. Luckily, we have some time because free agency is not until March. But when I look at the 49ers, 31 free agents, I'm like, all right, man, look, how many of these guys I'm seriously considering bringing back? How many? And we'll do a show where we break down the 49ers free agents again. We kind of tapped into it where out of the top free agents, who do we want back? Ward, Greenlaw, some people said Josh Dobbs. They want these guys back. Listen, 31 free agents, but defensively, we can't start shaping the defense without the coordinator. And you can't even think about the draft if you don't have the guy leading the defense. I think that's what makes this a situation. Now, for the San Francisco 49ers, my issue, here's my only issue. My only issue is they cannot put all their eggs in this basket. I'm asking the San Francisco 49ers to do a couple of things, right? Please, just interview some other guys that will be good candidates for the position. Like, make a really good, not just conscientious decision, but make a good decision based off of interview, status, work, progress, everything. Like, right? Yeah. Do we want Robert Saleh? 100%. We want him to be the dude, right? But what if he doesn't work? What if he doesn't make it to the defensive coordinator position? If you don't interview anybody else, how are you going to know? You can't tell me that it is Saleh or Staley. That ain't working for me. And it shouldn't work for you. It definitely shouldn't work for you. It can't be Saleh or Staley. We don't even know what Staley does with the Niners now. We just know he's an assistant coach. But we do know Kyle Shanahan already made him the internal candidate for the position. I'm like, damn. What'd he do? What'd he do to prove that? Nothing, right? So now we're going to have to sit back. We're going to have to continue to wait. And it's either going to be, hey, Saleh takes a head coaching position, and then I'll be double dog damned if it's Brandon Staley without interviewing a guy like Lou, a guy like Dennis. They didn't even have a formal interview with Jeff Ulbrich. It's letting me know Kyle has already picked the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. And I can see the stories right now. I can feel the vibe. You think that last season shenanigans was it? If if Kyle Shanahan makes Brandon Staley the defensive coordinator, 49er faithful, and then let me not include all of the faithful. There's going to be some that's just going to sit back and accept it. And then in Kyle, we trust for sure. No doubt you're faithful. There's other faithful, though, that's going to be like, bruh, how you going to make this guy the guy without an interview, right? And you had this man available, this man available, this man. You literally had guys you could have really went out and made this defense better. I can't stop laughing because I already know if it's not Saleh, it's Brandon Staley. They ain't interviewing nobody else unless Kyle is pulling a rabbit trick out of the hat and we just don't know. He is about to get thrown, trashed under the bus. Like, I can tell you right now, Kyle is about to get all the wrath of the faithful if he doesn't. He's got to find a way to interview some of these other candidates. There are other candidates that I feel like are highly qualified for the job. Now, I'm not going to lie. There's some things that I feel like Brandon Staley may be able to do well here. The number one thing is, and it's not about Brandon, but the number one thing is that he's been in the system for a year. He's a former successful defensive coordinator. So I'm going to give him some little benefits of the doubt. When I say former successful, you cannot overlook and overshadow what he did for the Rams that year. You can't, right? Was he a good head coach? Hell no, he was terrible. Was he a good defensive coordinator that year? Hell yes. Ask every Rams fan. We need the Rams fans in here right now. They will tell you. When they had the number one defense in the league, yeah, he was the guy. Then he got a job. And he became a head coach, and then he couldn't get the Raiders defense to work. He was terrible. He couldn't get the Chargers defense to work for crap, excuse me. And he had really good pieces with the Chargers. But he's a 3-4 guy. I feel like if it is a Brandon Staley, will the Niners look to change the system? And if they do look to change the system, oh man, this whole draft is the whole way we draft is going to be different. You got some players that I feel like can go both ways, Pauls. 3-4-4-3, but you really gotta look at some really outside speed linebackers, some good pass rushers. That's when you get a guy like a Javon Walker or a Michael, the kids from Georgia, like the 3-4 kids from Georgia. Like that's when they come into play. And so it changes everything for the San Francisco 49ers. So guys, we gotta just sit back, we gotta relax, and I'm here to just bring you good content, entertainment until, the stuff hits the fan. I do trust Kyle Shanahan. I do want to say that. But I'm hoping, just as an executive, I'm hoping he interviews other highly qualified people for the position. He has the time. So you can't use time against you like he did when he hired Steve Wilks, 49ers _throwback. I felt like time wasn't on his side. We were competing. We were this, we were that. We aren't doing anything but watching the playoffs right now. and resting and recouping. He has plenty of time to really go through some of these. He can fine tune them with the comb or whatever. He could do that. He can do all of that. He has the time. So I'm hoping Kyle Shanahan definitely takes the time that he has and allocates it properly in searching for the new defensive coordinator of the San Francisco 49ers. Guys, don't forget to make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for sure. You become a member of the Breezy Bunch crew and take advantage of all the cool perks. All of that goes to support the stream for sure. Don't forget to check out our sponsors over at Residency. And it is officially Mock Draft Monday. I love Mock Draft Mondays. We do the live mock drafts here. I think today I'm going to try to incorporate a trade. I think the 49ers are going to move up. Let's try to see if we can move up today and see what it's going to cost the 49ers to move up in the mock draft simulation. Also, I'll be breaking down the picks over on the Patreon. So the Patreon members get an extra video of me breaking down the picks, giving you a little insight on each one of the picks that were drafted in today's mock draft. So there'll be a different version every single week. Now, some of the players are going to end up being the same because it's just the way that the cookie crumbles, right? It's just the way that it falls. So let's go ahead and get to the mock draft for today. Let's see if I can blow this up a little bit. Now, we are picking 11th, and I believe PFF has adjusted the picks. I think they did. I think they adjusted where we're drafting as far as like the picks, the comp picks. This is what I'm talking about. So let's see what happens in today's draft. Now, look, I do full mock drafts right here on the channel. All right. So you can check out that first 1.0 video for sure where I did the full mock draft. Obviously, I'm going to be changing that up every single week because I feel like there's some quarterback needy teams up front, and there's going to be some teams that may try to jump up front to get one of these quarterbacks. Now, obviously, the Senior Bowl is on its way. You got the big game tonight, man. Who you guys going for, Ohio State or Notre Dame? Put it in the chat. I don't care if you're a member or not. I am going to post it. Notre Dame or Ohio State. What's going on? Oscar says, we need to flip the script and use a new system. The D is just not aggressive. Oscar, I don't know if we need to flip the script and use a new system. Because of the last thing you said. If you didn't say the last thing, I probably would have been all in on it. But because you just said the D is just not aggressive, that just lets me know we might not need to flip the script and use a new system. We just got the wrong players, player. Like, you get what I'm saying? Man, the conversations I'll have off air that I can't have on air, the words that I use to describe this defense, which, in my opinion, the defense got to be the most ferocious, aggressive players on the field at all times. If I had 11 Juwan Jennings playing on defense, this team would be fine. And that's not a shot at anybody on the defense, man. Fred Warner is aggressive. Diametro Lenore is aggressive. But I feel like Juwan Jennings is one of the most aggressive minds. If I had his mind and I had 10 other players like him on that defense, then we'll have an aggressive defense. It's the mindset of the players. And it could be the mindset of the coach, too. Don't get it twisted. Because I feel like we know Malik Mustafa's hell of aggressive, but he misses a lot of tackles. We know Jair Brown is hell of aggressive, but he misses a lot of tackles. I don't know. I just know that the aggressiveness hasn't been there. Thank you for that comment, too. It's always good to hear from you. Peachy, what's going on, Peachy? I know Peachy's going for Ohio State. You know what I'm saying? There it is. I was waiting for that. Kylie says Buckeyes. I can't root for the Buckeyes. I can't. It's like I can't. I just can't. There's nothing in me that can root for the Buckeyes. But I'm rooting for y'all because we cool, right? But I can't root for the Buckeyes. But I'm going to root for the people that I'm cool with. Don't bother me, says Notre Dame. Might say, you don't watch college football, dog. You missing out, dog. This is where you think how you think players get drafted. You got to watch it. You got to, especially the big game. Got to watch the big game. 1,000%. Got to watch the big game. Okay? Try to watch the big game for sure. Because I guarantee you there's going to be some players. that's gonna get drafted from this game. Notre Dame. Oh, it's like we listen. There's no way Notre Dame's gonna win this game. I'm sorry. Notre Dame has some of my favorite players I want to draft, but I just don't think I don't think their offense is going to be able to keep up with the Ohio State's offense. And I think Ohio State's defense is just going to play on another level just because they're in the championship game. And I feel like they're trying to get their coach, Dave, they want him out of there, right? So I think they're going to play so well to where like they're going to force him to be like, okay, we won, I'm out. I'm not going to coach anymore. But, I can't root for Ohio State. Notre Dame, because I know someone who works there. See, Ohio State just might come into, Ooh, I like it. All right, so I am in this mock draft on this mock draft Monday. Thank y'all for participating in that too. I'm going to try to move up. Now, I'm not big on trades when I do a mock drafts, but I do understand that people want to see trades. I do. People like trades. People like to see trades and all that type of stuff. Now, for the Niners to move up to a spot. Now, the question is, if I'm trading up, I better be getting a surefire player that's going to come in day one and impact the team day one. I'm going to be honest. I don't think any of the offensive tackles give me that, but I think there's some defensive players that I would definitely move up to get. Okay, there's some defensive players that I would definitely move up to get. So let's see if we can move up. I know that the Patriots are probably going to go defense. I want to see what it's like to move up, I would say, to 4, 5, or 6. I got to move up in front of the Jets. I want to pick a top 5 pick. Now, how much will it cost me to pick a top 5 pick? So let's start with the Patriots. Let's see what we got to offer. We want number 4. We're going to have to give up some stuff now. All right. So I just want people to understand that all these picks we got, it ain't going to work, right? So we might have to give up that second round pick, which they are willing to do. But I don't want to give up that second round pick to move up to number 4. I'm going to look into 2026. 2020. Let's go to 2020. Dang nabbit. They want 2 first round picks. I don't like trading first round picks or giving up multiple first round picks to move up 6 spots. It's not my thing. It's not my thing, right? It's not my thing. All right. So I see some suggestions out there. They say, let's try it. It's a 51% chance we'll give up a comp pick in the 3rd round, our 3rd round pick, and another comp pick in the 3rd round. Let's see if this works. And let's see if the Patriots are all for it. And did they do it? Did I not do it? I felt like I didn't do it. We're going to start this over. I hate trading. That's exactly why I hate it. So let's start it over. I'm going to try that again. I actually like that. It doesn't say that they're willing to do it, but let's try it again. So for 4, we want 11. We'll give up this, and we'll offer the trade. And they took it. All right. So the Niners are going to be moving up in the draft. Shout out to the PFF Draft Simulator. Damn it. I thought we might have had a shot at getting Travis Hunter. You're the best player in the draft, but unfortunately, it didn't pan out for the San Francisco 49ers. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, there are 2 players that I'm picking in this pick. There's 2 players. There's Abdul Carter. It's Mason Graham. Like that, I moved up to get an impact player week 1, day 1, week 1 on my defense. And I know people are like, you got to draft offensive tackle. I do. I do. And I will. I promise. Right? I promise that I will. Now, again, this comes down to me, to that defensive coordinator that we're talking about, right? Because I feel like if it's a Brandon Staley guy, you get an Abdul Carter type of guy. He's more of that outside linebacking kind of physique or whatever out there on the edge. He's going to have some speed. Do we go Abdul Carter? But I really feel like the trench, the area, the interior is what the Niners need to fix. I really, truly do. They got to fix the interior. They've tried in free agency. They tried in the draft with Javon Kinlaw. Big bust. There's a guy named Mason Graham with no injury history. He is a pretty much damn the best defensive tackle in the draft. You want a guy that gives you the perfect balance of rushing the passer and stopping the run, right? If you ask me what do the Niners need to do defensively, is to stop the run. That's the number one thing, right? Don't let teams run, right? Well, that's where Mason Graham comes in. And so I'm going to go Mason Graham here with the first pick of the 49ers. Now, we traded up for those that are just watching. We traded up. And no, I did not take Abdul Carter. I know people are going to get on me for that because I'm going with a Michigan guy. But guys, man, trust me when I tell you, you get the guy. You get the guy that you wanted. You run stop. You're not running up the middle. You're just not going to be able to run up the middle. He's going to force guys to try to push outside. If you got Nick Bosa setting the edge, you're clear, you're good. All right, now we can have some fun with the draft, right? Because now we're picking 43, so we still got our second round pick. I already addressed the interior, and there's still some good edge rushers that I feel like can come in and kind of like impact with the San Francisco 49ers. I see Landon Jackson from Arkansas available. I really like this linebacker, Jahad Campbell from Alabama, but I'm going, there's a position that the Niners just seem to not be able to get right. Okay? They can't get right. All right? They can't get right. And I know this is not a pick that everybody wants to see. Let me just check and see who's available on the offensive line. I see some interior guys. Cameron Williams, I think, is going to be a big project. Ariante Ursary feels like he fits the 49ers. He would be perfect for the Niners. I feel like I can get I'm going to be running out of tackles, but there's some guys you can get down there probably a little bit later in the draft. I feel like the Niners are set on what their offensive line is going to be. Let's just hope that in free agency they try to address it or whatnot. But I would like the kid from Minnesota. If we're going to go guard, Tyler Booker, Jonah Savanea, I think that's how you say his name, Savanea, from Arizona. Big guy, 300 plus pound, big 320, 330 plus pound guy. Might be able to move in and play a little bit of guard. Charles Grant from William and Mary, he's a high rated tackle. The only thing that's knocking him is his height, 6'2". So I don't know how you feel about that. Donovan Jackson dealt with some injuries with Ohio State, but he can also kick in and play guard. Chase Loon, that's the guy that I really would look for the Niners to get for tackle. I think he would be a perfect, good prospect to draft. So I think I'm going to go with the number one safety in this draft. Like, I'm not going to trade again. I'm going to go with the number one safety in this draft. And I think I'm going to go Xavier Watts. The Niners are missing the ball hawk. They're missing the ball hawk. And I feel like if they get a ball hawk back in on their defense, the Niners will have up front guy, Mason Graham. You got the ball hawk safety back there. I don't care if I got Malik Mustafa, Jair Brown. Ask me if I care. Don't. None of them are ball hawks. I want a guy that has the speed, range, sideline to sideline, cover one, cover three, whatever he's asked to play, he can move and he can be there and get the guy. All right, and get the guy. So that's where I went. I went with the safety out of Notre Dame, Xavier Watts, with my second pick. Now, we did trade. So we did lose a pick, a couple of picks in this draft. Pick 75, I think we were out of. Now, we are on the clock at pick 111, and I do want to look to address. Here's the best players that are available. Got a bunch of quarterbacks, some running backs, cornerback, Jacob Parrish. There's my guard. There's my tackle. So the question is, I do want to go offensive line. I really do like the kid out of UConn. I know a lot of people don't know about Chase Loon, but I can't wait to break this kid down. You can see his run blocking grade is great, and he's really good in zone, right? And so the question is, like, he's a right tackle. I feel like he's a better version of Mike McGlinchey coming out of college. You can see his height. He's 6'8", 305. Can stand to put on a couple of more pounds, but I think his speed is what's going to separate him and his ability to move in the run game. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to draft this guy. I know it's 9 picks ahead. I could go Connor Cobley. I do like the guard from Iowa, but I'm going to go ahead and get the kid to tackle Chase Loon out of UConn. My hometown, baby. All right, we're on the clock. We got back-to-back compensatory picks. All right. back-to-back in round 4 compensatory picks. That's where they have them right now. So now I don't know if Cody Simon. I've been looking. He's one of my top 10 linebackers. All right, Cody Simon from The Ohio State. He's going to be a problem. He should be eligible for this year's draft because I feel like he's a 5-year guy in college. I don't know what's going on, but I do know this is a kid that the San Francisco 49ers can have, and he would be a problem. I mean, look at him. Run defense, good. He's pretty decent in coverage. Pass rush grade, good, right? And that's what I like about him. That's what I like about him. The fact that he's able to do all three, that makes him, in my opinion, pretty damn good. Only 13 missed tackles on the season. I know that's a lot for a lot of people, but he's all over the field. It's one thing I like about him. He can cover. He can develop into a linebacker here. I do like our linebackers coach. I feel like we kind of develop those guys pretty well when we get the right type of player. All right, we get the right type of player. Y'all gonna stop talking to me about my Michigan guys too, because I'm drafting an Ohio State idiot. All right, if I'm getting an Ohio State guy, you leave my Michigan guy alone. Cody Simon is the linebacker that I really do like. From as a linebacker, he's one of my top 10 rated linebackers. You can check that out on my Patreon. I have the Google Sheets already up there. You can check and see why I got him as a top 10 guy. But man, he's just great all over the field. And you're going to get a chance to watch him tonight. All right. We're going to get a chance to watch him tonight. All right. I'm not saying that, dog. Not saying that. We got back-to-back picks. And so far, for those that are just tuning in, just as a quick recap, I traded up in the first round. We moved from 11 to 4 with the Patriots. They took our trade. We were able to get Mason Graham. Yes, Abdul Carter was on the board, but we went with the guy that we need to fix to stop the run. Carter doesn't stop the run. Carter will rush the passer, but he doesn't stop the run. We technically have an older version of Carter right now, and I kind of want to see what, Drake Jackson's going to be able to do when he returns this year. So I went with the guy that I know will be here for 5 years and be the anchor of that defensive line. We couldn't get it right with Hargrave, didn't get it right with Kinlaw. We haven't had it right since DeForest Buckner, and he's better than DeForest Buckner. I can tell you that right now. So we went Mason Graham. Xavier Watts went with the ball-hawking safety out, led the nation in interceptions with 6 interceptions. And we went with Xavier Watts out of Notre Dame. Went with the tackle out of UConn. Big tackle, 6'8", quick on his feet, quick on his toes, great in zone blocking, right? That's what you want, right? That's what the Niners like to run, outside zone, right? Boom, there's your guy, right tackle. You already have an heir to upgrade right there from not Mike McGlinchey. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. All right tackle, Colt McKivitz, right? Then I went with the all-pro purpose linebacker and Cody Simon out of Ohio State. And now I'm on the clock. I got one more pick in the 4th round. Didn't give up. Got a 5th round pick, a 6th and a 7th to go. I like where this draft is going. I truly do. Now, I think the Niners still need to draft corners. They still need to look edge. So let's just see if there's any edge guys that I feel like could come in and fit. Brady Swinson from LSU. See, all the good premier edge guys are pretty much like gone. Now you got to really kind of do your homework. Like, you really got to do your homework. But I do like this kid out of LSU. I like his size, right? So he's 6'4", 250, same height and identical weight to Nick Bosa, right? Same height. So where am I picking right now? 138. Is it a reach to get him? I feel like he's the best edge rusher available for the 49ers if I decided to go edge. I'm not going to draft a running back here. There's so many running backs of value here, right? So many guys you can get. I do like Terrence Ferguson. If we're going to look for a tight end, he's a pass-catching tight end, not necessarily the blocking type of a tight end. I'm not sure if he is what the Niners need. I feel like they can just get another guy in free agency to do what he does. And not waste a pick on a tight end. If you don't get one of the top 3 tight ends in this draft, in my opinion, don't draft a tight end. Top 3 tight ends, they'll be on that list over there on the Patreon. But you guys know the top 3. It's Tyler Warren, Colston Loveland, and Harold Fannin Jr. from Bowling Green. After that, it's you don't draft a tight end. You know what I mean? But Terrence Ferguson is in my top 10 of the tight ends. So there's going to be a team that's going to take a chance on it. I really like the Braden Swinson pick, so I'm going to go there. So I'm going to go edge there. All right, I'm curious to know if I should go back to back. It's round 5. You can see we've addressed the defense big time. Let's go check and see what wide receivers are available. I know Kyron Lacy is there, but he's going to be pretty much a wild card. Ricky White is a player, and I know if I draft him here, where do I pick again? 187. I'm not going to get Ricky White. I like Ricky White out of UNLV. You can see like his contested catch rate is pretty good. He's decent against man coverage. That's what you want. 11 TDs, 1,000-yard wide receiver for sure. He can line up all over the football field. You can see he can line up in the slot as well as a wide out. 78 receptions off of 124 targets, 13.2 yards per reception. I'm all for the Niners drafting wide receivers and trying to keep replenishing that group. 7 drops. Deep catches is what I like, and the 23 forced missed tackles is what's screaming to me. What's screaming to me. So, I really do like this kid. The question is, do I want to go here right now? Because after that, I'm not. I like Ty Felton out of Maryland, and then after that, you're probably not going to get a wide receiver that I feel like will fix. We can go interior. Let's go look at the interior offensive linemen. A lot of centers. Tyler Fairchild is available. Jake Majors is there. I know a lot of people are high on Jake Majors. I'm not too high on Jake Majors. Clay Webb, though, guard out of Jacksonville State. No, it's a smaller school, but you want the guard. You want a guard? That's the guy. That's the guy. I would wait on Jake Majors. Joshua Gray from Oregon State is another guy I would wait on. So I feel like I can get a guard, but I can get a guard a little later. All right. So I think I'm going to go. Would I be wrong for drafting 2 tackles? I went interior, right? Would I be wrong for drafting 2 interior guys? That's another question. Because I don't mind going 2 interior defensive linemen because I love CJ West. So here's from the defensive linemen, C.J. West, Aeneas Peebles, and Darius Alexander and Cam Horsley are 4 guys I feel like will come in here and can be great, solid rotation for the San Francisco 49ers. I do. On that defensive front, 1,000%. All 4 of those dudes. Where did I say I was going? We didn't look at corners. All right, so let's look at these corners. I don't know if Davidson is going to return to Ohio State. All my corners are gone. I see Kobe Bryant there. The guys that I would want for the Niners are pretty much taken up. Not really sold on any of these corners right here. I probably will pass on the corner. But let's go with forgot where I said I was going to go. I did edge, did linebacking. Not drafting the kicker. We're not going to ever do that ever again. All right. Look at the running backs. Taj Brooks is there. Ollie Gordon. A lot of people, I really like Ollie Gordon. The second. I wouldn't mind drafting a running back right here. Yeah. Let's get Ollie Gordon. Taj Brooks, though. Yeah. He's a big guy. 5'10", 230. I don't know if he's going to be quick enough, but he got the production. 6'2", 225. That's a tall one, right? Tall. Let's go Taj Brooks right here. Let's get a running back in the 5th round. We're kind of like replenish Elijah Mitchell because I don't think he'll be back. All right. So, it was the wide receiver. Oh, you guys suck. You're supposed to be reminding me. Didn't I tell you he was going to get taken? Let's see where Ricky White went. Just curious to know. Ricky White. He went to Houston. They get another wide receiver. They are loaded with wide receivers, man. They are loaded with wide receivers. 1,000%. You know what I'm saying? Loaded with wide receivers. I'm not pretty much sold on any of these guys, man. I'm not saying that they can't come in here, make the squad, blah, 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 blah. But, I mean, now you're crap shooting with the picks. You're late in the draft. You're in round 6. If you're going to draft a wide receiver in round 6, they got to be able to do a couple of good things. They got to be fast, right? They got to be fast. As far as tight ends out there, you missed out, man. I just 5 tight ends, maybe 10. I got 10, my top 10 tight ends, but this kid from Utah, I mean, just not. I'm not big on the tight ends after my top 3. They're all pretty much gone. I think you bring. I'd rather see Mason Pline get it in for the 49ers. You know what I mean? I'm not drafting the tight end this year. If I don't get one of those top 3, top 5 guys that we talked about, I'm just not going to get one. But if you want to see the list of that I have, man, become a member of the Patreon. It's only 99 cents too. You get the list for 99 cents. Boom, 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 and then boom, you'll have the whole list, and you can see my guys. Now I am updating that daily because the games are going to be played, and Malachi Moore already went safety. I can't go 2 safeties. I see Jackson Dart up there, but people get mad when I draft Jackson Dart because they be like, oh, he's not going to be available in round 6, round 7. I know, but he is here. Like, he is here. You know what I mean? So, like, but I don't want, people get mad when I draft Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart is the best quarterback available. I feel like I should just draft him just because. I'm going to draft him just because he's here, and people don't like when I do it. All right, last but not least, let's sew this joint up. And just to do a quick recap, man, that's where we went. We traded Mason Graham, Xavier Watts. We got Chase Loon. We went with the tackle out of Connecticut. Cody Simon, I feel like after his combine, he's going to shoot up to one of the top linebackers in this draft. Braden Swinson, edge rusher from LSU. Taj Brooks, running back from Texas Tech. Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. And now we end the draft. We don't have a receiver. We didn't get a tight end. I feel like let's go look at these receivers. Bo Collins isn't it for me. Oh, I was saying if you're going to get a receiver, you got to look for a quick, twitchy guy because we need a return man. This kid is 5'11", 167. He has 0 weight. He should be able to fly. But we need somebody that can give us some return power. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's where the Niners, like, if they can get a guy that can come in here and return, that'll be good on them. I wouldn't mind going guard here. I talked about Joshua Gray as well. And maybe you just get an undrafted kid, you know? You get an undrafted kid or whatnot. Let's go with the guard. Let's go with guard from Oregon State, Joshua Gray. All right. That's our draft. Here's a quick recap right here, man. Let's see what they gave us for a grade. I'll be breaking these down again on the Patreon. So you'll get an exclusive video, Patreon members, and I'll break down each and every one of these picks. They gave us an A for the Mason Graham pick, a C+ on Watts, because I feel like they didn't feel like we needed a safety, but I don't know how you don't take the best player available. Chase Loon gave us a B, Cody Simon B-, Swinson B, then we go CC-. They gave us a C- on Jackson Dart, a B- overall. All right, not bad. Man, not bad. I don't know how this is a B-, but we'll take it. You know what I mean? We'll take it for sure. All right, guys, let me know how you feel about the draft inside the comment section of the show. If you guys are rewatching, don't forget to hit that like button, man. You guys have been in the audience, amazing audience again, man. Give yourselves a round of applause. Again, don't forget today is Martin Luther King Jr.'s day. All right, make sure you definitely give your honor and respect to Dr. Martin Luther King. Go Irish is what we're saying, right? Or is it Ohio State? Big game tonight. Make sure you guys tune in to that. If you want to show support for Peachy, that's her team, Ohio State, and I'm sure she could use it. But I'm definitely going to be rooting for nobody. That's kind of like Michigan ain't in it. I'm a sore loser. That's just who I am. Love you guys, man. You guys are always amazing. Thank you again for tuning in to today's live show. I'll be back Wednesday for sure. Don't forget to check me out over on Bleacher Report Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time. I do a 49er show for you guys exclusively on Bleacher Report. Download their app. And until the next time, keep it faithful. Thank you all for your support here on the Wayne Breezie channel. If you're new, make sure you click on that subscribe button. Don't forget to smash the like button and check out the other videos. Thanks for watching.